Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Andy. So as you can see, we got some snow, quite a lot of it. This is not exactly common where we live here. You can see behind me, the frog pond froze. Not all the way solid to the bottom, luckily. But you can also see you've got a nice crust of ice on the snow. So, I mean, you can sort of stand on top of it. But since we got this much snow, and it is a nice, clean blanket of snow, I thought we'd try something that I've wanted to do for a while and really don't get the opportunity to do. That is snow dyeing yarn. So I'm gonna go get some yarn ready, and I'm gonna have Northerner Chad get me a bunch of snow that we can use for dyeing the yarn with. So Chad,
yeah,
how does this compare to winters in Buffalo when you were a kid?
it's a little less snow than we might have had there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
How much snow might you have had there?
Yeah, you know, a couple feet.
Couple feet?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, shout out to Chad's mom, my wonderful mother-in-law. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Mom!
There you go.
It is a lot of snow. The camera can't even handle how much snow that is. This is apparently a southern camera. Alright, so I've got 3 skeins of Dyer Suppliers 75/25 merino nylon fingering. And this is a 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. So each skein is 415 yards and 100 grams. And this is a 3-ply yarn. Now I've got them all kind of crowded into this aluminum roasting pan. And they're dry right now, but to make sure that the dye takes all the way in really good, I'm going to go ahead and soak these just in some plain tap water while I mix up some dye. Andy here. I shed worse than the cats. And you're probably thinking, well, snow is just frozen water, so why don't you just put it in dry and let the snow wet it? Because we want to soak this all the way through. And I'm going to need a little bit more water. Okay, so we will take care of that, and then we'll be back to put the snow and then the dye on here. Dye, we're going to be using Kool-Aid today in cherry, grape, and black cherry. We're going to sprinkle these over the snow. We're also going to be using some Chef Master's Neon Bright Blue that I've mixed up in water and put into a syringe so we can write with it. We will not be using Kool-Aid lemonade because say no to the yellow snow. Okay. The yarn has pretty much soaked up all the water that was in here. So now we need to put the snow in the tray.
Snow first.
Huh?
Snow first.
Snow first.
Just dump it in, or?
Yeah, you can just dump it in.
Okay.
Hold the tray forward. I don't have snow gloves. Because normally when you get snow down here, I just don't go outside till it's gone.
There you go. Helicopter.
Helicopter. Okay, now we need to pat that snow down.
Tight or just?
Yeah, pat it down tight. you want to put that down there too? I say pat, but press would work just as well. Okay. Oh my God. He's got snow everywhere, y'all. It's all over the place. It's just frozen water. It'll melt.
Have you been outside?
Yeah, he made me go out there. It's cold. Okay. Now we're going to sprinkle the Kool-Aid over. You can take your gloves off now if you want to. We could sprinkle together. You get 3 packets. It's black cherry, and grape. I get 3 packets. That's right. We're going to be using a lot of dye, but remember we've got 3 skeins. 3 skeins of yarn, which is a lot more than I normally dye at one time. And we just sprinkle it over there. And we don't have to use any vinegar because the Kool-Aid, of course, has citric acid in it. And that'll work as our acid to help us set the dye.
Smells like Kool-Aid.
It does. Oh, it smells so good. It's one of the things I like about dyeing with Kool-Aid is it smells so good. Sounds like one of our neighbors is rather foolishly trying to get their car out in the snow. You got all yours in?
Nope.
Yeah, that grape just looks so weird.
Time for the black cherry. There you go.
All right. Okay, now that we get those on there, it's time for our blue. Sacrificing my warmth, rolling up my sleeves. Whew.
You just mean you're getting serious.
I am getting serious. Okay, let's see how well I can write with a syringe. I can write. What?
A little different from your fountain pen.
So much different. But about the same color as what I've currently got inked up in my pen. And I guess at the same time, just as hard getting words on the page. Am I right?
Yep.
As I struggle with the short story I've got due in a few weeks. S! 1 letter down, so many more to go. There we go. Snow day. Okay. A little bit left in there. It's not coming out. And just because I don't want to have a bunch of places that don't have any of the blue in it, I'm just going to go ahead and put a couple of drops of the blue. in those corners. All right, now we just wait for this snow to melt and we can come back and heat set the yarn. So the snow has finally melted. This has been out here for how many days, Chad?
3? 2 or 3 days?
2 or 3 days. I think 3, and it's finally melted. The snow's finally melted. This stuff that you see on the top, I'm not entirely sure what that is. I don't know if it's from the Kool-Aid or the Chef Master food coloring. It's got some purple stuff to it. I mean, it could be from the grape Kool-Aid, or it could be, Chad, what'd you say? You looked up, and what'd you say you found?
There's bubbles or pollen and fatty acid.
Fatty acids being from like grass or other organic material. I don't know. So, but it is not, as I thought this morning when they came out here, snow that's still ready to be melted. So this is ready to get heat set. Now I'm going to be honest with you. This stuff, whatever it is massively triggering my OCD. Because one of the ways my OCD presents is contamination OCD. And I'm kind of freaking out, but I'm going to be brave. Just giving you a little insight into what life with OCD is like, because it's not like movies and TV and memes and stuff when I tell you it is. I'm going to be brave. I can do this. And what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the skeins of yarn into Ziploc bags so that I can put them in the crock pot and steam set them, because we've got the acid, we've got the protein fiber, we've got the food coloring for dye, but we haven't had our heat yet. We had quite the opposite of heat, so now we got to have the heat. So, and oh, we have a lot of white still on this. Jay, if you want to come over here with this, put the Ziploc bag. One.
You all going in there or several bags?
We're going to go ahead and put them all in here. I am not concerned that much about if there's any sort of bleeding from one to another, just because they were all dyed at the same time. And you can see our dye bath didn't exhaust. That's fine. I would probably just end up having to rinse that out anyway. Trying not to touch the camera with this because I don't want the camera to get wet. The other reason we have to do this now is because it's snowing again. And if we don't heat set these now, it's just going to get colder. And here's the last one. We got a lot of white because we didn't flip this. Now somebody over on the Chemnitz Lab group on Facebook asked me what benefit the snow gives in dyeing yarn. And it really doesn't give a benefit per se. It really doesn't give a benefit per se. It's just a different way of dyeing the yarn, of applying the dye to the yarn. It just kind of controls the rate that the dye gets to the yarn. Okay, so we've got all of our yarn here in our Ziploc bag. The water in the yarn is going to serve as our water for steam. Now there is not a lot of water in here yet. We just turn it on. Now what you can't see right now is, although it seems like I'm holding things together completely, this is the thing that you can't see about OCD in movies and TV shows and other media and stuff, is my brain right now is completely freaking out and going, oh God, what was that stuff? What if? And just going at 1,000 miles an hour and can't stop thinking about it. And I am just trying to control the panic. So it is life with OCD. And yes, when we're done with getting this set up, I will be running and scrubbing my hands. That's hard for me. Okay.
Ready?
We found a silicone steamer basket at the store the other day. We got this at the Extra Ingredient in Greensboro, North Carolina. No idea what that noise is out there. It will fit into my crock pot, and that way we can have the yarn and the bag not sitting directly on the bottom. Use less water for steaming, which means it's going to take less time for it to get up to a steamy temperature. And so now we're just going to let this steam, and then, oops, I need to close this back, don't I? Okay. Yeah, I put the lid on. There we go. Okay, so we are just going to let this steam in the bag, and then we'll let it cool down overnight, and tomorrow I will wash it, dry it, knit up some swatches, and show you what we got. And here's our finished yarn. These turned out really great. We've got 3 really great skeins of yarn here. Let me go ahead and open them up. We ended up with a lot of the yarn that didn't get any dye. And I think that is largely because we used Kool-Aid for most of the dye, and Kool-Aid's got citric acid. Citric acid is going to make it strike fast. Also, this being the superwash yarn, is going to make it strike fast. So we didn't get a lot of spread, and we got a lot of really deep, intense colors. We've got some blue here. I am not sure if this is from the black cherry or the grape breaking, or if it's from where we wrote Snow Day in blue. I tend to lean toward it being where we wrote Snow Day in blue. I've not tried breaking any of the Kool-Aid colors. I would assume that they would because they're just food coloring, but I don't know how readily they would, and considering that we were using citric acid, and how deeply and intensely the colors struck to the yarn, and that we don't have like a lot of blending. We've got, you know, lots of just really white patches. I tend to think we didn't get a whole lot of breaking. So I think those bright blue spots are where we wrote. We've got one right here, just a spot of the blue right here, and it is that same intense bright dark blue that we've got here. I wouldn't say dark really, but deep blue as what's over here around these colors. It's really pretty right here where we've got this sort of a garnet red and that blue around it. That's why I'm not sure if we've got some color breaking or if that's where we wrote. Over here we've got where it's sort of a burgundy kind of garnet color with that blue, and then more of just a sort of orangey red. So I think this is what the color was out of the Kool-Aid packet, and this is where it mixed in with the blue where we wrote Snow Day. Complete conjecture on my part. I have no idea because I don't know which skein was where. I have since taken the silicone ties off that color-coded things, and since 2 of them were the same color anyway, there was really no way for me to know where they were in the pan. But overall, I think they're just really pretty. Everything just, it's so, so pretty. I love how this red always dyes up on yarn. I'm thinking that's probably the black cherry, you think?
Yeah, that looks probably, yeah.
Yeah, I love how it's almost got a glazed effect to it. I love that. I'm going to have to play with that one some more. But Andi, you ask, what does it look like when you work it up into a swatch? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I happen to have a swatch right here. And this is how it works up. This is just one of the skeins. Obviously, I am not going to sit and do a swatch from all 3 skeins. They're essentially the same colorway with dye lot variations, of course, because they weren't dyed exactly the same. But this is how it works up. And even though we've got, you know, these huge stretches of white in the skeins, really what we see mostly is the color. And of course, that has to do with size of the knitting needle I used, the number of stitches in the row. This is a 30 by 30 swatch, and on a smaller or larger scale it could look different. I'm going to find that out because these 3 skeins are a sweater quantity, so I'm going to bite the bullet and wind these into cakes and knit my first ever sweater. That's right, I have never knit a sweater. But I'm going to do that because this is a sweater quantity. I looked at patterns on Ravelry and found one that I like that I can make with this much yarn, and so I'm going to do it. But I love how this works up. It overall reads sort of a garnet color, but then we get these little pops of the bright blue that break that up, and I think it's just really pretty. What do you think, Chad?
I feel like how it turned out, I think the little pieces of blue intermixed through there do give it a lot of visual appeal. And the brighter red into the burgundy, where you get that gradation, is also quite nice.
Yeah. I like it. I'm pleased with it. I think it's going to make a very pretty sweater. I hope you liked it as well, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, you can give it a thumbs down if you want to. That is entirely your choice. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. That way you won't miss anything that we try here. Like on the rare happenstance that we get snow, so we can do some snow dyeing. Yeah, spur of the moment. You have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you on our next adventure. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Chad.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I knitted a sweater. It is awesome. I love it. It turned out really good. I did helical knitting so that we didn't get any color pooling really bad or anything, but check it out. I love it.